Welcome, my witches and ghouls, back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Vernal Equinox, or also known as Ostara. So, what and when is the equinox? How to celebrate it, things you can do and make, and a little history on two goddesses that are associated with this holiday. So, what exactly is it? It is the equal length of day and night, but it's not really. The reason why this happens is because our atmosphere acts like a lens and refracts, which means bends, light above the edge of the horizon that it's going up and down over, So technically the sun's really not there when it's already below the horizon. So we actually end up seeing the sun for a few minutes before the disk actually rises and for a few minutes before it actually sets. So the word equinox is from two Latin words. Eque means equal, and nox or noct, which means night, which comes to the word equinoctum, or the Old French spelling equinox, or to the late Middle English equinox. And the word vernal is from the Latin ver, or vernus, for spring or of the spring, to then vernalis, which is still Latin, to finally vernal, to in the mid 16th century. So when exactly is it? This year in 2023 in North America, in the United States, it's going to be on March 20th, and in the Southern Hemisphere, it's going to be September 23rd. But it actually can fall between March 19th to the 21st, since it changes it changes kind of frequently, every single year. There's only been maybe, in the last 100 years that I've looked, 2 days out of those 100 years that it actually has landed on the 19th. Every other year, it's either the 20th or the 21st. And most of the time, it's actually on the 21st, on our Gregorian calendar. I can't say it. And you can actually find out why on almanac.com, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below. All links are not affiliated with me. So how can you celebrate exactly? And so since it's about renewal, fertility, and new beginnings, you can restart an old project of yours, kind of what I'm doing, because this channel is kind of an old project I used to do, and now I'm starting it back. So traditionally you can also decorate eggs, because eggs are a symbol of fertility and new beginnings. You can stand an egg on its end, which I've never heard of this before until this year. Apparently you can, on the equinox, since it's equal day, equal length day and night, you can take an egg and try and get it to stand up straight on its bottom on the equinox. That seems like a fun activity, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure it's fun for kids, because they're like, oh, let's see if we can try this. And the parents are like, yeah, you go do that for hours on end and let me just do my own thing. Thanks. So I don't have to supervise you. You could meditate or think about the upcoming new year. Since technically it's not, this is the start of spring, but it's not really technically the start of the new year. But you can still think about, what projects you're wanting to do, what your plans are for this year, and what you plan on doing with friends and family and your partner or anyone, or just yourself, or journal about it. You could also start a new book, or read an old book, reread an old book. You can decorate your home, your altar, or you can decorate outside. Usually I'll decorate. This year we haven't really gotten around to decorating. We usually do, but there's just so much stuff we already have to do. You can also go out and enjoy nature if you have taken your allergy medicine and you're not deathly allergic to pollen, like my husband is. For my poor husband. You can also do a bonfire. Pretty much every single Sabbath, you can do a bonfire. You can have a feast. You can go hang out with friends. have family come over, make a feast, and enjoy your time with family and friends. This is technically what Sabbats are all about, is about gathering everyone you love in one space and hanging out and telling each other stories and maybe making some s'mores or roasting marshmallows. But also, please follow your local laws on doing bonfires. Like, around my area, like, it's not really a big deal. We don't really have a whole lot of laws that are strict about not doing that. But we also live in a rural area. So, but if we were, like, in a city or something, it would probably be different for us. You can also journal, like I said before. You can write down what things you're grateful for, things that you're excited for the coming year, and some goals that you have, and how you plan on executing them. You can also honor fertility gods and goddesses at this time, which pretty much means any fertility gods or goddesses. So for me, Freya would be... She is a fertility goddess, technically speaking. Her brother Freyr is actually more of a fertility god than anything. But since Freya is about, like, weirdly enough, love, war, technically wealth, and a few other things, this would be a perfect time for me to honor her and honor her name and ask for blessings for my home and for my family and for my friends, and maybe, like, give her a special offering. And it actually, if you're able, you can go to a megalithic monument. One of them is like Stonehenge. And another thing you can do is learn the story about Eostre. So one story actually goes is that this goddess found an injured bird and transformed it into a hare to save its life. The transformation, though, was incomplete, and in gratitude for saving her, the hare laid eggs and decorated them as gifts to Eostre. And actually, another story goes that this bird was so proud of its eggs that the goddess was very irked by this, and she turned the bird into a hare. And after she turned the bird, she felt bad for it and gave it once a year to lay eggs. Now, we get into the two goddesses that are associated with this holiday, which is Eostre and Ostara. I'm going to be looking down a lot for this because this is a lot of information. So we're going to start out with Eostre. So she's technically considered a goddess of Anglo-Saxon origin. She's the goddess of the East and Dawn, which it seems like most fertility goddesses and gods are associated with the dawn and the East. And Eostre is actually linguistically related to a lot of goddesses through the Pi word root. I'm going to butcher this. Jesus? And technically, which not really technically, but still, Eostre has a month, and I'm going to butcher it again, Eostrmonth, that is named for her according to Bede, who is a Christian scholar, from his book, De Temporum Ration. The Reckoning of Time. There's a website that actually takes the times and months and stuff from this book and puts it on a website so that you can actually look at it to see, like, what month we're in, what, like, blot you're supposed to be doing, what kind of celebration is generally around this time, which is actually nice. And I will probably also leave the link down in the description below if you're interested in looking at that. And now we're on to Ostara. So we're actually going to be talking a little bit about Wicca right now. So we all know that Gerald Gardner founded Wicca in like 1950, and he basically took a bunch of Celtic and Germanic and other holidays and like smushed them together. It was like, I'm going to create my own religion, and we're going to smush everything together. And we're going to have these different holidays, and one of these holidays is called Ostara. So this Wicca-based holiday is actually based on this goddess. And for a lot of people, who are from Wicca or not, believe that she's actually not a goddess, or never really was a goddess, based off of misinformation that we have. Now, if you want more information, Wind in the World Tree actually has a whole article on this. So the most that we hear about this goddess is actually from Bede's book, De Temporum Ration, the reckoning of time. And she is considered more of a Germanic goddess. And the Germans have a month called Ostara month, according to Eigenhard. So linguistically speaking, Eostre is the root of Eostre month. Then Ostara should be the root of Ostara month. And since the Angles and Saxons and Jutes came from Germania and migrated into England, that means there's no reason to dismiss that Ostara is actually a goddess of her own right. And so essentially both goddesses have some evidence that they were kind of split from like some kind of main goddess. Like, it seems like most deities happen this way, where people split off from like one group and they might be like the same type of goddess, like the goddess of the East and Dawn, but then it turns out that they've changed their names, and not like they look different, but like they kind of do look different, because technically, like, so there's Venus, there's Freya, there's other fertility deities that I can't really think of right now. But essentially, a lot of people conflate Venus with Freya. They're both essentially like kind of the same goddesses, because Venus is a goddess of money, of love, of war at one point, which was freaking awesome. Freya is the same way. She's the goddess of love, money, war, sexuality, fertility, just like Venus is, / Aphrodite. So a lot of different cultures have like the same types of deities, but they all have different names. So it's the question of, are we all soft polytheists, or are we hard polytheists, or are we like some kind of in like the middle, because there's syncretism, there's multi-traditionalism, there's all these different types of things. And I actually might make a video about that eventually. Not soon, but eventually. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video today, and if you would like to, leave a like, comment your thoughts, especially about these goddesses, because it's very interesting to learn about this and research and figure out like how these deities came into being, and what types of places they came from, and types of religions they're based off of, and it's just amazing. But yeah. Also, if you would like to, you can also share this video with your friends, maybe your family if they're not too judgy. But I hope y'all enjoyed today, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, everyone!